Councilmember Pinto, people keep saying this is about crime. This is about crime, specifically crime by juveniles. Help me understand how an increased federal police presence with the FBI and the National Guard and all this business helps address the issue of juvenile crime in the District of Columbia. I thought it was a policy solution.
Well, I'm glad you raised this because in the government, we should be focused on serious policy solutions to address serious problems. That is not what this is. The vast majority of young people in Washington, D.C. are doing amazing things, are going to school, are thriving, just ended summer camp. And we are lucky to have them being contributing members of our society. When it comes to juvenile crime, which I am very concerned with, any time a young person picks up a gun, that is absolutely not acceptable. And there are interventions that we're working on to drive that down even further over the 20% reduction that we've had over this past year. Like last month, I moved an emergency piece of legislation to authorize our police chief to have juvenile curfew zones in areas of the city where we were seeing large groups of young people congregate and engage in violence. There are other ways, to your point, that the federal government can be helpful in helping us solve some of this crime and drive it down, like filling judicial vacancies, like stepping up their court social services efforts to make sure that kids who are on pretrial release are actually being monitored, like filling the billion-dollar budget gap that Congress has left us arbitrarily in the spring. Those are ways to help us with public safety that we would welcome. Sending in the National Guards to patrol our streets is not the answer to our crime challenges.
Councilmember, you referenced that 30-day window. You also, I'm sure, heard the president's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, being very wishy-washy with that timeline. If Congress were to come back and were to vote to extend that window, what does that actually look like for D.C.? And what recourse does D.C. have if you, as one of its leaders, if the mayor decides it is actually not in D.C.'s best interest to have the Guard there?
Well, I remain committed to ensuring that every person in Washington, D.C. is safe. And I am on the Hill regularly, meeting with members of Congress and the House and the Senate and articulating to them and really educating them in many ways on how our unique structure in D.C. works, what we are doing to address public safety and drive down crime, and where we can use and would welcome their partnership and collaboration. And so my ask to Congress is to not extend this period of 30 days, but to work with us meaningfully to ensure that every person can be safe in the nation's capital, because that's what our country and our city deserves.